Kevin Love, three-time All-Star, and he's with the Cavaliers, obviously. He's with us here on Tiki and Tierney on CBS Sports Radio. You know, Kev, I've always wondered about this, and I know I was reading your Twitter feed, and I guess a couple of weeks ago you had a question about Johnny Manziel with fantasy football. So we obviously pay attention to football. I think you'll appreciate this analogy because I think it pertained to you on some level last year. DeMarco Murray plays a certain style in Dallas, puts up sick numbers, and really was phenomenal, goes to Philly, and it took a little while to blend in and maybe do some different things. I could be totally off base. I got the impression last year, I think many of us did, you spent a lot more time out of the paint than you did in Minnesota. Is that something that's going to be tweaked this year in terms of familiarity and comfort level with what David Blatt is asking you to do? Where is it right now? Do you think things change a little this year?
Yeah, I think so. And as far as a comfort standpoint, you mentioned DeMarco. It does take a little bit of time. I mean, we started off the season 19 and 20. There's always different stages throughout the season where you either take the steps forward or you take steps back, or kind of collateral damage. You kind of just do a sidestep. So for us, we had to take a step back first before we could take leaps and bounds forward. We made a trade kind of halfway through the season. We picked up Mozgov and Shump and JR, those guys that really helped propel our team forward and gave us extra firepower and size. But even for me individually, I thought I played my best basketball late, and unfortunately, as I mentioned, injuries happen and got my shoulder ripped out. We were playing great basketball at the right time. And heading into this year, as far as the comfort level goes, I feel a lot better. I think you will see me in the painted area a lot more, offensive rebounding, getting defensive rebounds, and just mixing it up. So that's something that I'm looking forward to, and carrying the load when we have guys like Shump and Kyrie out right now. So we need to get healthy, and then we'll start really playing our brand of basketball. But for now, we're going to have different guys stepping up like you saw last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, you talk about those guys and the depth there, but I'm just thinking about now with Verjao and Mozgov and you and
Mozgov is awesome.
Yeah, Tristan,
he was really good for them last year.
Tristan Thompson's, supposedly probably going to be back. That situation is odd, but whatever. You guys are very deep. Is that too good? Are you too deep? You know what I mean? Is there enough minutes to go around, enough balls to go around?
Well, it kind of reminds me of, in some ways, how it was on the World Championship team that I was on with USA Basketball in 2010 and also 2012 for the Olympics. It's like we had a ton of talent. We had guys that did so many different things and impacted the game in so many different ways that I think it can only help us, especially if we really learn to play together. And we have guys that Coach K would always say, I want you to not check your ego out the door. I want you to bring your ego, but for the betterment of the team. And I think we have a lot of guys that bring so many different things that we can give. We can play small, we can play big, we can throw so many different kind of looks out there that it could only help us in the long run. So I think the depth and the next man up mentality from what you saw last year is going to prove really great for us.
Kevin, obviously a little bit before your time, it's Kevin Love, three-time All-Star, and he's on the Cavs, obviously, with us here on CBS Sports Radio. When I was first really falling in love with basketball in the 80s, there was always rivalries, and whether it was the Bulls and the Pistons or the Celtics and the Pistons or the Celtics and the Lakers, even the Lakers and the Mavericks, going back to, Derek Harper and those guys, Mark Aguirre, it defined the league. I feel like in the Eastern Conference, we want to make you and the Bulls a real fierce rival, but it doesn't feel as real as it used to. Is that because I'm getting older, or is that because I'm missing something?
No, it's still there. I mean, when two teams play very physical, some points it gets a little chippy. Teams that historically have, kind of that on their side, and even before LeBron left from Cleveland, went to Miami, and now after the fact, it's always kind of been that way with us and the Bulls. But also there's a lot of more parity throughout the Eastern Conference now. You see a lot of great teams. And teams taking a step in the right direction. So we know that we're really going to have to bring it, and we're going to see the Bulls game one. So that's going to be a tough matchup for us. But there's plenty of teams that, at least maybe not from a rivalry standpoint, but teams that we're really going to have to bring our best because we're the team that, or one of the teams that we're always going to get everyone's best shot.
Now, Kev, we have to ask you this question. LeBron James, we heard some injury things. Is he's going to be fine?
Yeah, he'll be great. He does everything right by his body every single day. From a mental standpoint, there's not many people like him. So, yeah, he's going to be great.
It's probably going to sound like a weird question, but is he really, truly one of the guys? And I don't mean that in a divisive way. I know he's very well liked and respected, obviously. But it's almost like when you get to a certain level, you can't have any time for yourself. He's always hounded by the media. He's always got requests, and he's tugged in a million directions. Is LeBron loose and just chill and just relaxing when there's nobody around? Is he one of the guys?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. He is the guy. He's a lot of fun to be around. He knows when to have a great time, but he's one of those guys that can really flip that switch and knows when it's time to focus.